If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump with your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
In this super duper awesome episode of the Mind Pump. So look, for the first 44 minutes, we do our introductory fun time conversation. That's before we get into the fitness questions. Here's what we talked about. We started by talking about Adam's allergies and Justin's adrenal tumor. He had a tumor a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a fun little guy.
He named it Little J.
Little J.
Then we talk about Butcher Box and their ground beef for life promotion. You heard me right. Ground beef for life. Here's what you do. Go to butcherbox.com/mind pump and you will get $20 off and ground beef for life. By the way, this promotion ends March 31st. Then I bring up a study on Alzheimer's with mice and how they got rid of these amyloid plaques with light and sound. I know it sounds like they went to a nightclub. Maybe they did. I don't know, but the study will be in the show notes. Then we talked about how drinking hot liquids may double your risk of esophageal cancer. So if you like to drink really hot tea or hot coffee, you might want to cool it off a little bit first. Then Adam brings up an article on 3D printed sushi based off of people's poop, urine, and saliva.
What? We found out we know nothing about 3D printers.
That makes it so appealing. And then Justin brings up how Bill and Ted is coming out with Bill and Ted Part 3.
Excellent! Keanu Reeves is such a good actor.
And finally, I talk about a documentary called The Men Who Built America, Frontiersmen. It's on Amazon Prime. It's freaking awesome. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's another series that Adam talked about. It's about Lorena Bobbitt. You know, that's that woman that cut off her husband's wing wang.
So good.
Yeah. Sounds terrible, but he says it's good. Then we get into the fitness questions. The first fitness question was, what modifications would we recommend for people who train in the early morning, like 5 a.m., versus in the late afternoon, like 5 p.m.? Next question, do blood flow restriction bands actually work? This is actually, another word for this is occlusion training. It's a relatively new technique that builds muscle. We give our 2 cents. The next question, what are some accountability practices that we like to use that help keep clients motivated and on track? And finally,
text them constantly.
At what age do we think our sons will overtake us in physical strength?
It's never going to happen, Sal.
Also, this month, MAPS Aesthetic is 50% off. Let me paint the picture for you. MAPS Aesthetic was designed for people who are focused on changing their aesthetic appearance. This is for people who have particular body parts they want to develop, other body parts they want to sculpt and shape. They want to be able to take their body and, like a sculptor, make it look the way they want. Now, this workout is hard. There's lots of volume. This is not an easy workout, but it is very effective, especially if you're already advanced and you've got great recovery ability. Again, it's 50% off. Here's what you do. Go to mapsblack.com. Use the code BLACK50, BLACK50. By the way, MAPS Aesthetic has been revamped, so you're going to see new videos, a new look to it. If you already have MAPS Aesthetic, you've been updated for free. And if you enroll today, you'll get updated for free with any time we update the programs. Also, if you want to check out our other MAPS programs, like our Super Bundle, which is a year of exercise programming, literally an entire year planned out for you, all set up. Just go to mapsfitnessproducts.com. You know what you do sometimes with your voice?
What do I do?
You
Talk out the side of my mouth. That's what you said.
No. That's something else you do. This is another thing.
That's when you're on video.
Every once in a while you get nasally. Every once in a while, like you just think.
Oh, that's a low blow. I have that. My allergies, man, are brutal. I've been brutal the last week again too. It's like,
is it bad?
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because it rained like crazy, and then the sun came out.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was driving up to Big Sur over the weekend, everything was like green as fuck.
Yeah.
It was hella green.
Yeah, it's like one of those commercials for Claritin.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah. Claritin doesn't really work either, by the way.
Yeah, no.
You gotta cycle.
Not for me.
I cycle through all of them.
What do you cycle through?
I snort one. I take one.
Wow.
I'm talking about allergy
rectally and in my mouth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the triple
cover all.
I call it the triple
orifices.
Threat of allergies.
You do the double penetration of allergy.
the triple threat.
You should be a spokesmodel.
In lieu of March Madness.
Do you really? You get terrible, huh?
I do. I actually don't take the I'm lying. I really don't take. I haven't taken any medication in probably about 2 months or whenever the last time I was bitching about allergies really bad. So I try never to take it until it gets like really
Dude, it's those
unbearable.
acacia trees. Those things fucking kill me.
It's what's funny is and I remember I was starting to piece together what it was. There was a time when I actually watched the news. I don't watch the news anymore and haven't for a long time.
You just have me now.
Exactly. Did you see that on my Q&A? That's what I defer all science questions to Sal.
Yeah.
And so now
All political things. I'm like, hey, Sal.
shit, I even do the fitness ones now to him. People are like, "What the fuck, asshole? You're a fitness
Like,
guy."
come on, man. You know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do, but I'll have Sal cover that.
I still defer them all
No
to
problem.
Sal.
He loves this stuff.
Ask me a business question. I'll answer those ones. I was like, "Oh, you want to ask about fitness?" Oh, no, it's Sal. That's Sal's.
Where's all the science fiction questions?
Yeah, exactly. But you were saying?
Oh, I don't know what I was talking about the news. They used to do. They would tell you pollen, tree, grass,
Yeah.
like which one was high, which one was low. Like, today's high if you're allergic to pollen. Or today's
Sure.
low. And so when I was following that, what I pieced together was I'm fucking allergic to a ton of things. It's not just like one. So like when you mentioned like certain trees or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of different things that bother me. I think I get most of them. But what I notice, and this is interesting, but I haven't exactly connected it, is certain ones definitely affect the allergies differently. So I get the, stuffy, congested, phlegmy throat where I want to spit all the time, which drives me crazy. Or I get
this noise a lot.
Wow.
yeah.
That's enough.
Katrina.
That's enough.
Katrina loves that.
Does she really?
No, she doesn't. It's a bean so
Right
great.
It's
right
great
in
at
your
the
ear.
restaurant. Yeah.
And then another time I'll be just itchy red eyes. I don't get all of the symptoms together. I get them separate. It's really weird.
I wonder if you seeing the news report and it's saying the allergies are going to be bad.
Of course.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what if it's like,
All of a sudden you get a rash.
Yeah, it's hella good today.
Damn it.
like, what the hell is going on? Yeah.
Instantly.
I used to never get allergies. Now I get them just a little bit every once in a while. I had them real bad once. And so only one time I know what it feels like to have those types of allergies. It sucks.
Dude, I used to get migraines like all the time. When it fresh cut grass and like it used to really bother me. Like I used to like, and I don't know specifically if it was because too, like back then I didn't know, like my blood pressure might have been a little bit higher than normal, just because of like, I think that tumor I had was like there for like a long time and I just didn't realize it and just lived with it.
It's not the tumor.
It's the tumor.
It's not the tumor.
Were there
give
any
me the
benefits
headaches.
to having the tumor on your adrenals?
Benefits?
Yeah, like did it make you more hyped?
I mean, I don't know. Are we looking at the positive side?
Well,
of
I
this?
mean, if you had it for a long
Did you
time,
eat less?
Yeah.
did you notice that when you took it off,
I
you
was
got
skinny.
You
It's
got
nice. The tumor ate a lot of my food.
Did you,
Highly suggested.
did you name your tumor? This is little Justin.
little Jay. He just likes to eat all the fat stuff.
No, but no, I'm serious because you were producing a lot of adrenal hormones because it was a tumor on the adrenals, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like you were on like 24-hour a day fat burners or something.
Maybe,
Did it feel like that?
Maybe that was the case. I don't think so.
Did you gain weight when you cut it off?
I became immediately addicted to stimulants.
Oh, so you needed more.
Yeah. So,
That's and so you're trying to get another one.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Do you think
should.
you think you're worse with stimulants today than you were before?
I do.
Oh,
I don't know if that's just because
Adam feels guilty.
of the ramp
I
up
feel
of them.
I feel less guilty now.
Yeah.
He thinks he caused it. Did you know that?
No, I gave him shit about it. No way, dude. That's just total. I had it there. I think what happened was you helped it to, exaggerate it more. So I knew I had to get it out of my body.
You
it was
saved
already
it.
there anyway. Yeah,
Good.
exactly. Like you helped me like find it. That's how I look at
That's
it.
a
I'll
bad-
spin it.
that
So
is
I
a-
didn't give it to you.
No.
No, you actually helped him.
No,
is
it
what
was
I'm saying.
there, but it made it larger.
You helped him identify it. You actually saved his life.
Yeah. Yeah, all
Yeah,
that. All
I
that
like how
speed,
this
all
is
those
going
speed
now.
stacks,
Right?
Yeah, like yeah.
That is a terrible sense of denial. That's weird. You're like it's like an abusive relationship.
You really helped me.
I deserved it. Yeah.
My face hurts.
Hey,
No.
you know what happened to? Listen to this. Listen, Linda. Listen. So, I'm getting ready to go barbecue my butcher box meat in my grill, and I'm not able to grill. And
Why?
Well, I open up my grill. I haven't opened it up since winter, and I have one of those nice covers that you put
Yeah.
on it. Have you guys? And this has never happened to me before. I open my grill and the
all mold.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's happened to
I've
me.
never had that happen before.
Yeah. So what did you do?
Well, we did the sous vide. I did
No. What are you going to do about your grill?
Oh, you got to burn it off.
Yeah, so I scrubbed the shit out of it. Then I had to, light it. I put it on high for like an hour. And
Just fucking
cook the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I've already done that once. I'm probably going to do it again.
Oh, it's been so wet. Yeah, I always have to deal with that. I have one of those Webers too, and I'm I make sure and close it and put the cover on and everything, but still the moisture gets in there, and dude, it's inevitable you're gonna get that mold.
Speaking of Butcher Box, their ground beef for life is still going, right? Isn't it still going?
It
Doug?
ends this month though. When's this? This will be
31st.
Okay, so
Dude, that's what Doug's
Endless
saying.
Taco Tuesday.
So
if you think about
so
it.
you enroll in Butcher Box, get your grass-fed meat, you get ground beef for life, which I don't understand how does this company even do that?
Well,
I don't know, dude. I hopped on the bacon when they threw that promotion out.
Yeah.
But
So anyway,
this is even better.
Still going on. But here, I have a question for you for barbecues. You know the little grills that go on the barbecue? What is that called? Am I saying it right? Grills? That's it, right?
Yeah, the grills that go on the barbecue.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
You can
Grates,
buy
the grates?
Grates. You can buy new ones, right?
Yeah.
Because I have mine are all funky. I need new ones. Where do you
Yeah,
get
you
them?
can buy
The
accessories.
funk is what gives the flavor.
Ace Hardware, dude. I go there. They have a lot of accessories.
The
for
flavor's
barbecues.
in the funk, bro.
flavors in the funk.
Is that what you tell the ladies?
Yeah,
Isn't there's somebody that makes that case where I know for like the iron skillet you try and keep a certain amount of that leftover petechia on there or whatever.
Yeah,
it's called.
she normally lets that sit overnight and then she doesn't clean it. What'd you call it? Did you use the word that Doug tried to use earlier?
I did.
Petechia. No.
Come on, Doug. Back me
Patina,
up.
I think it's what they call
patina.
it.
Thank you,
Patina, there you
patina. That's what I meant. What does the other one mean that I said?
Justin's so sophisticated. You know what I mean?
I just throw that in
no
there to
idea
see
what
if you
that
guys are listening.
Yeah, I'm listening.
No, that's like seasoning, right? But a barbecue isn't
seasoning.
like that. That's you got to clean it.
No, you let that shit. You let all the gook get on there, man.
Don't be afraid.
You don't want mold on there, but
Everybody's worried about carcinogens and all this.
Yeah, dude, little leftover
Demon
grease
stuff.
from the last time you grilled.
That's the guy with the tumor. No, you know what? No, you know what they say though? They
Wasn't
say
from that, dude.
charring your meat or the burned parts that they're carcinogenic. But here's always my argument for that. How the fuck did we cook meat when we were hunter gatherers?
Right?
Forever. We didn't have sous vides. I'm sure we grilled the shit out of everything.
Well, that just proves your point too about how much we freak out about a lot of little things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's shit that we've been doing forever, and that we've never been able to measure that to see how much. It's a splitting hairs thing that we always talk about.
We obsess.
I think the body needs a certain level of carcinogens.
Speaking of that, we're all over the place. Hey, we're all over the place today, but you're saying shit that's popping. The Lane Norton post.
Which one? Oh, about artificial sweeteners?
He just won't let that shit go.
No, of course not. Doesn't he sell supplements with artificial sweeteners?
Probably.
Whoa, there's a connection.
Yeah.
No,
I honestly, though, in Lane's defense, even if he didn't sell supplements with artificial, he still would go ham.
Of course he does. No,
he still would go ham.
No,
on
the
that.
reason why I like
motherfucker
Lane is,
pounds fucking monsters all the time.
yeah, the thing I like about Lane is he's got integrity for his beliefs, so he doesn't try to bullshit. But I don't like it when people talk about artificial sweeteners in that way because he's trying to say, oh, it's healthy for the gut microbiome, or it's not that bad because the mouse study showed that it was okay. And I'm like, we don't know, and we don't even know.
Wait a minute.
We don't even know a little bit about the microbiome.
And think about it. Mice have been eating rat poison for fucking 100 years. They've evolved. They got hella stronger guts than us, anyways.
Yeah, I think
You know what
I'm
I'm
not
saying?
sure if that's true, but yeah, I agree with it though.
Adam theory.
The way I look at it is,
You don't think that's it? Think about that. Like, how many every mouse has got a family member that's ate rat poison. You can't tell me that it has not somebody survived.
Some epigenetic link there.
Yeah, for sure. Some mouse survived. Why would we're not working any
I
different?
think the mice that they use in studies have been bred for a long time to be in studies. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? Yeah, I don't think they're from a lineage of mice in the wild.
Well, then that makes the study
Wild
even more
mice.
fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it really like that?
I'm pretty sure.
Doug,
that
look
they
up the
have-
mice and studies. I want to see this.
There's a certain type of mouse breed, and I believe
it's
that
it's the white ones they always use, right? Mm-hmm. With the little pink feet.
Yeah. Yep. No, I don't know. I have
red eyes.
I have no idea what color they are. I don't know if they're using multicultural mice. If they're using
Spotted mice.
white mice. Laboratory mice are usually of the species musculus. Oh, look at that.
That's a good.
Look at it. Just like what I said. The white ones,
Musculus.
red eyes, pink feet.
Yeah, they're used for research in genetics, psychology, medicine, and other scientific disciplines. They belong to the. I'm not even going to say that word. Let's see if you can say that word. Ready?
Wait.
Contoglirius.
You're Contoglirius.
Clade, yeah.
Wow, that one didn't.
Which
roll
includes humans. We belong to the same clade as mice. Interesting. What's a clade?
I don't even
off.
know.
Part of a clade.
Is
that
a clade or a clade?
CLADE.
Yeah, it's not a clan.
Wouldn't that be clade?
I would say clade.
It's a clade.
I would say clade too, Doug.
Clade.
Clade.
Part of the clade.
If you want to be sophisticated again, that's what you say. Speaking of mice, I got a study on mice.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. You want to hear something cool?
Yeah.
So scientists have figured out how to clear Alzheimer plaque from mice brains using only light and sound.
What?
Yeah, so they take mice who have Alzheimer, who have symptoms of Alzheimer's they essentially have Alzheimer's. They have the beta amyloid plaque build up in the brain that we know causes the problems with Alzheimer's. And so what they did is they took strobe lights and low-pitched buzz to recreate brain waves lost in the disease, which in turn remove the plaque and improve cognitive function.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Side effect, they died.
Yeah, no.
But the plaque is gone.
Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty... Well, previous studies show that bursts of ultrasound make blood vessels leaky enough to allow powerful treatments to slip in the brain. So that it kind of encourages the nervous system's waste removal, experts, the microglia, to pick up the pace.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe, hopefully, in the future, that could be like a brain treatment.
Yeah, maybe we all go to a rave and cure our Alzheimer's.
That didn't work for me. We went to the club in Vegas. I came out and I felt like I had Alzheimer's afterwards.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like I got.
It had the opposite effect.
Yeah, I felt like my cognition declined.
Crazy
as a result of that loud music and thumping.
But we never we didn't find out about the mice if they have a study lineage going on there, or if they are random.
I just don't think that they're collecting mice from the wild for studies. I feel like they're just breeding them, and they have been breeding
internally. Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Yeah, it is.
It would. That's kind of weird, though. Don't you think that would be different than two?
What do you mean?
It's a lot of inbreeding. For one.
I just feel like that would be a flawed study too, because what animal, including ourselves, is in a perfectly controlled environment all the time, forever like that? And wouldn't there...
Mouse studies give us ideas of what to study in humans, but you can't make a direct comparison.
And do you have an idea how often that the mouse studies are correct, or
it's low? I don't remember what the percentage is. I remember looking it up though.
Oh, is it really low?
Yeah, it's not very high.
Really?
No.
Like under 50%?
I believe it's under 50%. First of all, studies are hard to replicate anyway. You take human studies and you get a result, and then you copy the study, and then there's not the same result.
Doesn't that just discredit half the bullshit that we all argue and debate over all the time?
Maybe. Here's the way I look at it with, like, for example, artificial sweeteners. I'm not in the belief of innocent until proven guilty. That's for our justice system. But when it comes to things you put in your body, I'm on the side of guilty
I love that.
Until proven innocent.
No, I love that.
Like, okay, here's something that we made in the lab. Mm-hmm. I'm going to assume it's not good for me until it's totally proven fine and healthy and not a problem. Until then, I think I'll just have regular sugar and maybe stuff without sugar. And if I have such problems with food that I need to like eat something sweet that's artificially sweetened so that I lose some weight, probably not going to be successful anyway, because my relationship to food is at a point where I have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not really a great strategy to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah. Plus, I think we totally negate the sensation or the perception of sweet. We pretend like it's just all about the calories that come along with it, but the perception of sweetness, that does something as well. And at the very least, it'll change the perception of future sweetness. In other words, if I eat lots of artificial sweeteners, then I'm probably less likely to perceive natural sweetness, like in a fruit, as good. You know what I'm saying? My taste is more bland or whatever.
Right, because I mean, you're not getting any nutrients paired up to that taste of sweet.
Well, not only that, but it's like it's overload.
That's what I'm saying.
It's one sweet and low packet is like what compared to 6 or 8 tablespoons of sugar or something crazy like that. Like, I mean, you're the level of sweet, and so then you take something natural. This happened to me. I swear to God that I did not like fruit at all until I was 30. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until I actually dieted and I actually got rid of all the, because even all through fitness, even as a trainer, I allowed ice cream and candy in my diet. I just trained. I was able to include IIFYM, hence why I'm so fucking anti that shit, because I know what it was like to live that lifestyle, be fine, be fit, be okay. But I also see what it did to me. Like I 100% became addicted to sugar, still have battles with it if I allow it to come back in or out of my diet. Yeah. I hated fucking fruit and vegetables. And it wasn't until I eliminated it for months consistently before I had this feeling of biting in an apple and going, and now I love fruit. I mean, every day I have some sort of fruit. There's always fruit in my refrigerator. I'm always eating fruit, and it's enjoyable as shit. It feels sweet.
It just makes me laugh because it's like I have to have this sweet soda every day, but I don't want the calories, so I'm going to do an artificially sweetened one. You have to ask yourself why you have to have a sweet soda every day. That's the bigger question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I never have sweet sodas every day. But if I am going to have a sweet soda, which I will do occasionally, by the way, I may have one here and there, so I'm not demonizing it. If I do, I'll just do the real thing. And I don't even like the corn syrup one. I go for the Mexican Coke, the one with the real sugar.
Yeah.
And I'll have that one, and okay, here we go, and I'm enjoying myself. So I just don't like the whole idea around artificial sweeteners. And then here's the other thing. They're putting all of our supplements, and these are health supplements. So now people are taking them every day, and they think this is good for me.
And you're probably taking them in your coffee, because I would say a good, 75, 80% of people sweeten their black coffee with some sort of an artificial sweetener.
Sure. Now, speaking of hot liquids, a study came out that got everybody up in arms, and it said that drinking hot tea doubled the risk of esophageal cancer.
What?
Yeah. Wow. Now, people freaked out because it said tea. Yeah. So everybody's like, oh, fuck, tea.
I drink tea, yeah.
Tea gives me cancer. No, it's not the tea. To be quite clear, it's the hot liquid that is increasing people's risk of cancer.
Really? And this is a specific, like, people, you know how some people like things really hot?
Yep.
You know, versus like just kind of like a little bit past lukewarm, obviously, but.
You know, when you drink something real hot and it kind of burns your mouth and your throat a little bit. And
it leaves a bit of a callus there.
That is what is doubling the risk of cancer. And so they're saying don't drink really hot liquids. But this is nothing new. We've known this for a long time. When my, when my ex-mother-in-law got stomach cancer, I did lots of research on this, and they connected stomach cancer also with the consumption of really, really hot foods, temperature-wise.
You know, it's crazy because that's got to be hard for most people to judge, because you may be somebody who drinks something really, really hot. You don't even realize it because you've adapted slowly over time.
That's my grandfather.
Yeah,
right. My grandfather, I swear to God, if I could make pasta the temperature of lava, and he would. It doesn't matter. When we were kids, me and my cousins used to trip out because my grandma would serve everybody their bowl of pasta, and it would be just steaming hot. Like she literally just took it off the stove. Steaming hot, and we're all trying to eat it but burning our mouth. And my grandfather eats his pasta, like a lot of old school Italians, with both hands. He has a fork and a spoon.
And then just sucks it
one
up.
in each hand. And I'm not joking. So I'm talking about a bowl that's this big. So it's a big ass fucking mound of pasta.
Like a popcorn bowl.
Like a big bowl of pasta with sauce on it. And it would be three gulps. 1, 2, gone. And it would be gone.
Get out of here.
And we would all laugh because we thought it was so funny. And I remember after doing this for years, as I got older, I asked my grandma, I'm like, how does he, we used to tell him that his mouth is lined with asbestos. We're like, how does he do that? And my grandma said he's embarrassed. He doesn't want to tell you guys why he can do that. And I said, well, tell me. So he wasn't home one day. And she said when he was a kid, they were so poor that when my grandfather was, I believe he was like 10 or 11, he used to have to sneak on a train. So he'd get on the top of a train or hang on to the side of a train, go to other towns and find work because his family was poor, and he'd try and work and bring back money. And oftentimes the way that they would pay, sometimes he'd do work and they wouldn't pay him. They would just give him food. And what they would do is they bring out a big ass pot of hot boiling beans or pasta, and he would be working with all these men. So he's an 11-year-old kid, all these men around him, and if he didn't eat that shit right then and there, he was getting no food because the men would eat it all. So he learned how to just scarf it down.
Deal with the pain, huh?
And till this day, dude, that's what he does. That's no joke. Crazy. It's like he goes 1, 2, 3, gone. And we would all count.
So that's the scary part about information like this is, and I can imagine somebody who has drank tea or coffee every single day, and you like it hot, and you ask it hotter. I mean, and so you don't think it's hot to you, but that's because you've adapted over that time, and you have no idea how much probably your calloused your freaking throat
It's
is.
interesting because I too, like, even with soup and things like that, like I know on certain days where I feel like under the weather, and Courtney's great about making this homemade chicken soup, but makes it like really hot. And I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if it's that it's really hot and it warms up my core temperature, like almost emulating like a fever or something. But like there's part of me that like wants to believe that, the soup does help to kind of, make me feel better the next day. But yeah, the heat, that's the only time I like heat. I don't like with coffee and all that. I've never gotten.
You drink cold coffee.
Cold, yeah. I love.
Yeah, you do, huh?
Yeah, only just cold around.
I have an issue with. I'll eat something hella hot, but that's just 'cause I'm impatient. the food's sitting in front of me. I just want to eat that shit.
Yeah, I like my food really hot.
Me too.
Yeah, that's
now spicy is another one. Spicy is different. Spicy actually has anti-cancer effects, but man, the tolerance for spicy food, it varies.
Yeah.
So you guys ever meet someone who could just tolerate fucking spicy ass?
Also, another thing.
That's got to be somewhat cultural. Too,
well,
right?
it's not only that, but it's also something that increases as you age too.
Yeah,
What does your tolerance for?
Yeah, your tolerance for it.
yeah.
Yeah, because you become
your taste buds.
Yeah.
You ever give a little kid
I'm
something
already
spicy?
someone like that. I remember as a kid, I remember watching my stepfather put red peppers on his pizza. And I remember thinking like, "Oh my God,
you're crazy!
Yeah, you're crazy. That would burn my mouth." And and the amount that he put on there.
Oh, I love it now.
That's how I do it.
That's me with Tabasco on.
But
like,
I would have never done that as a kid for sure. And I didn't like. It would have burned my mouth. And I could pour them on now.
Well, like a child's palate is much more sensitive to things that aren't sweet. And it's probably because they're more susceptible to dying from eating things that may not be 100% clean or whatever. And in nature, if something's sweet, that usually means it's safe to eat. If it's bitter or if it tastes anything other than sweet, you have to be more careful. Yeah. It's probably why. But my buddy who's Indian, and Indians eat fucking.
There's a lot of spices.
Dude, some parts of India eat food so spicy it doesn't make any sense at all in my brain. It makes no sense. He took me to an Indian restaurant in Los Gatos. And he takes me in the back because he knows the cooks back there, and they're these Indian, like they're legit from there. And he starts talking to them, and they all start laughing, and he's laughing with them. And then we leave, and I'm like, "What did you tell them?" And he goes, "I told them to make this fucking spicy." I'm like, "Oh man," I'm like, "I love spicy food." He goes, "No, I told them to make it spicy like the way we like it. Like I want it to hurt my mouth." So I'm like, I like spicy food. Let's go ahead and enjoy this. Bro, they bring it out, and first of all, it was so spicy that it was like paste. Whatever this curry was on it, it was like thick paste because of whatever they put in it. Bro, I touched that shit to my lips, and I got an asthma attack. It was so hot, it made no sense to me.
Dude, that was like the first time was it wasabi, and I ate like way too much of it, and man, I was like, my eyes were watering, like my nose was running, like I did not react.
Have you guys seen the YouTube show that does the hot wings? It's called
Hot Ones.
Yes,
I love that show.
I didn't even know that it existed. What an asshole.
didn't?
It's like 2 years old, right? Isn't it?
Bro, that is such a great show.
It's good.
People,
it's really good.
It looks painful as hell.
Yeah,
they sell, apparently there's this corn chip, I think it is, that you can order online, and they'll send you just one, and apparently it's the hottest chip in the world. Have you guys seen videos of these people eating them?
No.
Yeah, and so people they'll eat it on YouTube, and then apparently it's terrible. And there's a part of me that wants to try.
Dude, yeah.
I'm not that good with it.
I can't.
I can't handle that much.
Yeah, I know my limits, dude, and I'm pretty.
I get my ass kicked at any of those hot wing places that have like levels. Some of those hot wing places they'll have like 7 levels of it or whatever.
What's that one place in San Jose where if you could eat a dish? What's it called?
It's right over by the university. It's over by Santa Clara.
Is it called the 911
Cluck
challenge?
You or something?
Is that? I think it's Cluck You.
Yeah,
and then it's like isn't they call it the 911 challenge or something like that?
I forget what the challenge is, but I know you have to go all the way through it.
You have to sign a liability waiver. You do before you eat the freaking wing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure somebody's have a heart attack. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of food and restaurants like that, did you guys see the 3D sushi thing?
So explain this to me. I did see this, but
this is brilliant.
Super cool.
This is brilliant. So I forget when it launches, but they do kind of like how Everlywell does the saliva or blood test. So they test you like that before you come in. and what they find out what nutrients your body's lacking in, and then they make custom rolls to support that.
Through your saliva test?
They have saliva, blood, and I forget what the other one, and urine.
So you go in there and they hold on a second. You're going to the restaurant. They're like, "Did you bring your poop?"
Okay, so I don't know. No, I doubt it's like that. It's probably like you probably have to send it in ahead of time, and then you would come in. I would imagine. I doubt it. Obviously, it wouldn't be able to happen that fast, right?
So I'm going to read it here. It says the Japanese company Open Meals is turning the idea on its head in the name. Okay, so what they're doing is they're saliva, urine, and stool.
Yeah. Oh,
and
stool too.
Yeah, and then Open Meals will create a 3D printed sushi that's tailored to each diner. How do they 3D print fish? I don't think they 3D print the fish, do they? This is weird. What are they 3D printing? Sushi cubes. I have no idea what this means. That's weird.
Well, yeah, maybe it just cuts it up or something.
You know, this is a total what's the word? Fad. Because we don't know nearly enough about the microbiome to start like making...
Or 3D printers, apparently. So they could say whatever. We just, there's some wizard back there that does all this, and then boom, it's matched perfectly to you.
I don't know.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, you're like, we don't know enough about the gut. I'm with Justin. We don't know about 3D printers.
I don't know any of the intricacies involved with that.
They bring your sushi out and it looks like poop. Like, this is what it came up with. We don't know. The computer came up with this.
Oh, son of a bitch. Dude, do you guys know that they're coming out with a new Bill and Ted's?
What?
3? They've been working on this for years.
Are they both in? Is Keanu Reeves in whatever they got?
Yeah, Alex, I forget his last name, but the guy, he was also on Lost Boys and all that. So yeah, the original guys are in it, and the director, I guess it's the same director, but also like the guys that wrote the series. So it'll be interesting because that's one of those that was like kind of a cult classic, but you know how that goes when it's like years later. I don't really know like a franchise like that like hit it when they're like old.
Well, this
is what happens, dude.
I can't wait to watch this, but I watched the old Bill and Ted the other day with my kid.
Dude, isn't it so great? Oh, yeah.
Do you know what they say a lot?
Yes.
You know what they say a lot on there?
The F word.
Yeah, not the F word fuck.
Not like that one.
Like,
but
the disparaging
like
remark.
they hug each other, then they say it.
Yeah. And
that's amazing.
And since that movie started, that old movie, that word has now become total taboo.
Like you can't. Yeah.
So I wonder what they're going to say now.
I don't know. Dork.
Yeah, something like that.
So lame.
They're all old now.
They are.
This is going to be an interesting show. Did you guys like the second one too?
I didn't like it as much, but there was like classic lines in that too, like where, so they were like with death the whole time and they're talking shit to death, which I thought was kind of funny. And they had the evil Bill and Ted robots and
is it just
dick,
I don't remember any.
You don't remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember anything.
They go in the phone booth. Remember the phone booth? It takes them somewhere.
Well, yeah, I remember that.
What are they going to do now? Use a cell phone?
Yeah, I have no idea. Apparently, their one song, the premise is they have one song, obviously, that's going to save the entire universe. Like, so that's the thing. And they got all these, like, musicians lined up, like famous musicians that are going to appear in this. So who knows how this is going to be like.
But this is what happens, right? I mean, you can't redo Bill and Ted's, like, 5 years or 10 years later. You have to wait like the 20-year plus mark, right? For a whole
entirely new culture.
Yeah, right. So then and then it'll be new to them, and it could be it'll probably be absolutely funny, and then we'll be like the old parents to go like, oh, it's not like the original one's totally lame.
Yeah. No, I want to like it. So that's where I'm at because I love those guys.
That's normally what happens.
If they remade Bill and Ted today, because they're not remade, this is part 3, but if they remade it today, they'd end up making it 2 girls is what they do, because that's what they're doing to all the old remakes.
To everything. Yeah, I know.
Like, oh, we're gonna make it with girls now. And it's like, okay, well,
is that true?
Ghostbusters.
That's one example.
Yeah,
it's one example.
I'm still mad about that one.
I can see it. It's like that's the only one I can think of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They were all funny, like comedians and everything. That just was kind of a flop.
No, they did another one. Wasn't there another?
Well, that's the only one I remember. That's the first one that came to my mind when you said that's the only one that came to my mind.
No, there was another one. I'll remember.
There's two movies they remade with chicks.
Always do it though.
All the time.
Yeah, Susan and Karen, or something like that.
Instead of Bill and Ted.
No, it's Bill and Ted. Keanu Reeves is it just me or does he play the same character?
He is a stoner surfer in every movie.
Bro, but he kills it every time.
He's a stoner surfer.
Tell me you don't like him in every single movie.
I love a lot of his movies. He's a terrible actor.
No, but
I love a lot of his movies. He's a terrible actor.
The only movie that he did was perfect in was Matrix. He was Neo, 100%.
Because he only said 5 lines.
Exactly.
Yeah, he said 5 lines in that.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. He still was a stoner surfer in that though.
He is.
He's Point Break in every movie.
Yes, I was just gonna say.
Yes, he's Point Break. That movie is classic and epic, and he's a surfer in it, so it fits. I really
but
believe.
what's the latest one where they killed his dog and then he went on a rampage and just destroyed everybody?
I never watched
Fucking
that
badass movie. Oh, you kidding me, dude? I hate that I don't remember the name.
I
but
know. I'll give you the name.
There's two.
There is, and it is. It is a good action movie.
It's just pure action.
Yeah,
I heard the fight scenes were.
That's it.
Amazing.
It's sick.
Just for that, it's good.
But again, why you like The Matrix? Because there was a lot of cool, like revolutionary, like fight scenes.
He's
and
been in
shit.
great movies. He's never did an
Speed. I mean, come on, guys.
another 8 lines.
Yeah. That's right. Speed. That's right.
Whoa, we gotta, take over the bus.
We can't go. We can't go over 51 miles. And it was a 51.
I'm gonna save everybody.
Anyway, dude, you know what documentary I've been watching?
What?
It's called. Let me see what it's called. Doug, did you write it down? For
John
me?
Wick. That's what it was.
Oh, John
Yes,
Wick.
John Wick.
I heard it was.
You have to see.
I heard the fight scenes were
You're
really
gonna
good in
fucking like it.
Yeah, it's
Trust me.
that. Am I?
It's like Rocky. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're watching it for the action in it. You know what you're going to get.
Well, there's
He
one
kicks
scene.
ass.
What's the one where all the old 80s guys get back to
Oh,
Expendables?
Expendables?
Yeah.
It's like it's like that. You have some of the worst actors all getting together, but some of the baddest action figures.
yeah. I like
I
it.
just don't like seeing worst.
No, I saw one scene from John Wick
They're
where
great.
he's fighting someone, and the jujitsu and judo moves that he does in the fight are actually really good. And oftentimes when you see fight scenes, it's a bunch of. They don't put grappling moves in there too much because it's hard to make them look as cool.
Yeah.
But he did some really good ones, and I think it's from John Wick.
Probably.
Yeah. So the documentary I'm watching right now is called "The Men Who Built America," and it's about the frontiersmen. And I've only watched the first episode, which talked about Daniel Boone.
Davy Crockett.
You guys got to watch it. It's crazy.
What?
Those motherfuckers were crazy.
Yeah.
They were crazy, bro. You know what this guy did?
Everybody in the Wild West was crazy.
Bro, they're going out into they don't know where they're going just to start their own settlements or whatever in the middle of Native American land. So they're constantly being attacked and fighting or whatever. The Shawnee Indians kidnap his daughter while they're out there because obviously they're in these other people's land. You know what I mean? So whatever. They kidnap his daughter. He hikes out there and tracks them because his daughter left pieces of her clothing to track them. He finds them, ambushes them, kills them, takes her back. Then he goes out one day with his men. They get kidnapped. He gets taken like 300 miles to another village or whatever. Escapes again, runs back to his outpost or whatever, and outpaces the Native Americans that were chasing him. And then the Shawnee Indians attack them. Because the British told them to. They were working together, whatever. And they had this huge war that lasted and it was part of the Revolutionary War. I had no idea. I had no idea that there was like a Western front to the Revolutionary War where the Shawnee Indians were trying to take out these outposts, and it lasted like 11 days.
Freudian slip.
Outposts.
You like that?
Hey, you see, that's
Poon.
We're all trying to take out them. Daniel Poon. Taking out them outpussies.
But these fucking dudes were tough, dude.
how great is it? That's the docu-series you watch. You know what
That
docu-series
sounds
I'm watching
fast.
right now?
I'm gonna watch that. Sal.
Bro, these guys were makes you feel like the biggest wimp of all time to see
No, that's
what these
rad.
men and women did just to live and survive. They had to stay behind their fort or whatever for like it was like an 11-day siege where the Shawnees would come and attack and they'd fire back, and they only had 40 men. There were 300 Indians attacking them.
Yeah.
11 days they had to stay in there and fight them the whole time. That's
crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thankfully, we don't
what do you
have to
watch?
live.
What did you watch?
So my docu-series I'm watching right now is the Lorena Bobbitt.
What?
There's a whole series on that.
Bro.
What?
She just cut his dick off. What
No,
else do you do?
it's
You mean she like threw it in the freeway, right? Like,
yeah, but again, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the
Yeah,
Waco.
get rid of this.
It reminds me of the Waco story where they're doing a really good job. Kudos to.
Was this a Lifetime special?
No, it's on. I think it's on Prime. I think Prime's got it. I'll double check that tonight. I've watched.
You wronged me.
I've watched the first 2 episodes. I think it's like a 6-part.
Did you hear what happened when she threw it on the freeway?
Let's
So
hear your
she was-
dad. Let's hear your
They
dad
tried to
joke.
save it,
Here's
right?
your dad joke.
no.
I know it's coming.
No.
You almost got me.
This is the part people don't know about. She was driving.
Yeah.
She obviously had cut off her husband's dick. She throws it out the window. It lands on the windshield of another car.
Okay.
The driver of the car was a father and his little girl who's taking her to school. So the little girl's like, and so the dad sees the dick hit the windshield, freaks out. He turns on the windshield wipers, and it pulls it off the windshield. And he was real like, oh, fuck, what do I say to my daughter? And so the little girl's like, Daddy, what was that on the window? And the dad goes, that was just a bug. And she goes, well, he had a huge dick.
You son of a bitch.
I knew he was going to do some shit.
You ruined us, man. What the fuck?
Anyway.
You got to watch the series, though. It
sounds fascinating.
You had me reeled in bad, dude. I was reeled in. Even knowing I knew there was a punchline coming, because I saw the fucking thing. I know it was. I still got reeled in.
You watched the whole documentary?
Not the whole thing, but we've gotten to that part already, so we know what happened.
So did she justify? Do you think she did a good? Like she should have cut his dick?
So I don't know.
Because he raped her, right?
No, yeah, but it's imagine watching the first 2 episodes of Waco where your stance would be. Right now, I'm just what I'm. There's more to the story, right?
Yeah,
like this. I was under the impression that he beat her, raped her, and this was her, paying back, revenge on him, and that was kind of, then she threw it, and like that's kind of like the vague story that was. But there's a lot more backstory, and what I'm being told right now, so I don't know how far. I don't want to ruin it for people, but it's definitely not what I was hearing on the news. So I find that fascinating.
How do you sneak up on a man enough to be able to cut off? You know what I'm saying? Like he's probably he has to be a deep sleeper.
No, he was awake. She was like fondling him and stuff.
Oh, so she planned it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then
yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. She planned it. She was fondling him, stretched it out.
Well, if he raped her, he deserved it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think he did though.
Oh no. Oh, that's what the documentary said.
Yeah. No. That's where they're leading you to believe where I'm at right now. That there's a lot more to the story, and it's like I said, it's fucking fascinating as shit.
Wow.
Well, again, it reminds me of as a kid because these are stories that came out when we were kids. I was 93. So what are we? I'm you're
like an eighth. I'm like an eighth grade.
I'm 6th or 7th grade. Yeah, so I'm 6th or 7th grade, and as a 6th grade.
You pay attention to that kind of news.
I totally remember that. I remember us making jokes about it. I remember it being big news for quite some time and talked about all through school.
He made a porn after that.
They sewed it back on. He made a porn.
So do I. So I remember
I think I even watched it.
Wow.
You guys didn't. Come on.
Well, you're the penis drawer. Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, of course.
I just want to see what it looked like.
You need inspiration.
Franken penis.
Hey, it's funny. I bet you part of we tease you about that, but I bet you that was around that time when you were doing it. I mean, that was big news. That made world news. You know?
Yeah, dude.
So it's interesting to watch some of these stories that were very memorable for me as a kid, and then to go back and then kind of watch them put it all together to see both sides of the story and how the news unfolded and what happened in court. And
that's got to be. How do you not bleed to death? That is such a. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he clamped it off right away. And he had. I think his brother was in town, knocked on the door next door. He rushed him to the hospital.
And then they found the dick in the road.
The funniest
we all
part,
had like a simultaneous crossing of legs.
I will give you. I will give you. That's funny you say that because they talk about this in the documentary. Like the whole day, so this was like so crazy. Nobody has ever heard this. So the part that was, I think, the most comical or crazy when I was first watching it is right away it opens up to like the 911 call, and all the communication back and forth between the police, the fire department, the ambulance, or nobody wants to say penis on air because up until that point, nobody had ever said the word penis like over the radio. It's like not in newspaper print. People tripped out when they had to print it. Mm-hmm. Like vagina had been introduced, but penis had not been introduced into our news network.
What were they saying? Like phallus?
The organ, like a man's...
The massive organ.
Yeah, there is his organ. It was really funny, and you hear all of them running into the same issue. Like, yeah, I'm reporting over here, but then I know it's being picked up it's on radio, so
we got to be careful.
Yeah, we got to be careful what's being said, and they're like, but we got to explain the severity of this. Like, so they don't just think a little thing got cut. Like, this is a big deal, right? So. Yeah. They go all into that. That part was kind of comical to see that all happen. And the same thing went when they printed the story the first time. Oh, wow. They were all. This is the first.
What is this on Amazon?
I think it's Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check tonight.
Well, their name is now.
I'm sure
their name is notorious now. You Bobbit. You can even say like, "Oh, she bobbited him" or whatever.
Oh, dude, shirts were made. Shirts were made over it. I mean, it gets into all that.
Yeah,
stuff
she became a little bit of a folk hero for women because she said that he raped her.
Big time. So get into that also. I'm going to keep spoiling this doc. I've only watched like I said the first 2 episodes, and they get into all of this stuff, but it set off a trend men
of dick cutting.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody else mentioned this, like nostalgia, like is like really like what's going like popular right now, like the OJ trial, like all these like Waco, like you notice that like all these like major news events that we sort of briefly remember are like that's what everybody's paying attention to right now.
Think about it. Think about what Donald Trump's mantra has been for the last 4 years. So this whole fake news thing, it's what great stories to tell.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no, think about it. All those stories were manipulated by the media one way or the other, right? You could argue either way. And so getting to see a whole documented series with interviews of people that were actually there and allows you as a...
I could have done without the Michael Jackson one. Thank you, though.
Right?
Yeah, I heard that was terrible.
But don't you feel like that's what all this is? It's like the reason why that's probably so popular is because fake news has been this mantra for the last 4 or 5 years, and now we're getting these stories that as kids, I remember hearing about in the news.
Imagine if you're like somebody who is in this terrible news cycle, you did something horrible or something happened to you, everybody knows you. 30 years later, you're like, fuck. Finally, like nobody remembers. Like I had, and then fucking Prime does a documentary.
No,
son of a bitch!
All the dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
I would imagine they're getting paid though.
You think so? Probably.
Oh yeah. If you're in that documentary, especially if you're somebody who it would be that like.
What a dumb decision for him to do a porn. That only kind of makes him look like a scumbag. You know what I mean?
Maybe okay, so again, this is stuff that I remember too.
I mean, he's
they
probably
haven't said
like
any
women
of that yet.
want it to work, so he's got to show it works.
Yeah, apparently. I remember reading an article. He said something like it's bigger now, or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
What? How's that happen?
Yeah.
No, I'm interested to see the rest of it.
Franken penis.
Oh, we forgot to mention the mind pump story.
Well, you could do it in your formal intro.
Why don't we do it right now? I'll do it right now. Oh, also we have the what is it? The testimonial page, right?
We're gonna do something a little bit different. This will be fun, man. We're gonna interact with the audience, and the goal is to choose one. We don't know the cadence yet if we're gonna do one a week, one a month, or whatever, but we're going to do this call-in line where you can call in and leave a review on any of the MAPS programs.
So what you do is you go to mindpumpstory.com. There's a survey, so just complete that, submit it, and then you're going to get a toll-free number, and you can leave your testimonial on how your body has responded to MAPS, your progress, how it worked for you. And it's 3 minutes, 3 minutes long, so you just leave us a testimonial, and then what we'll do is we'll go through and the ones that really strike us, we'll play. We'll play on the show.
And I believe Taylor set up the survey to where it kind of helps guide you in like what we're looking for from you, like what your goals were, or things like that. So those that are wondering, like, well, what the hell am I going to say for 3 minutes? It kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking for. And then, we'll end up playing it on air, hopefully.
Yeah, we want to hear your story, and we want to hear your voice. But it was mindpumpstory.com.
This quaz brought to you by Organifi. For those days you fall short on getting your organic veggies or whole food nutrition, Organifi fills the gap with laboratory-tested certified organic superfoods to help give your health and performance the added edge. Try Organifi totally risk-free for 60 days by going to Organifi.com. That's Organifi.com. And use the coupon code MINDPUMP for 20% off at checkout.
First question is from Derek NG84. What modifications to training or programming would you recommend for training early morning versus training late afternoon?
I don't know if I would do any mods for the training, but I would definitely maybe look at my nutrition before my workouts. I know when I work out at 5 a.m., it's fasted. I just don't have time to eat before my workout, unless I want to eat right before my workout, which isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
When I work out in the afternoon, I typically am fed. And I'm not going to lie, I've been working out, 6 a.m., 5 a.m. now for a long time. It's been now at least a few years. And I've done it long enough to where my body's acclimated, but it still is not the same. My PM workouts, I'm stronger. I have more energy, more drive. The benefit to the AM workout, though, is that I feel good afterwards.
Right.
Well, it sets up your day. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the main benefit is just the way that the effects of it for the rest of your day and how you can sort of be productive and feel like you have energy, and like it really energizes me if I can be disciplined about working out in the morning. But I much prefer working out later, just because of the fact I know I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to feel like I can do more at that point.
So I trained this morning at 6 a.m., right? So that's early for me. I don't normally train that early in the morning. I'm like Sal. I'm not going to get up at 4 o'clock and have a big breakfast so it's ready to use by 6, right? So, and eating a big breakfast a half hour or even an hour sometimes is not enough time to get it fully digested before I'd want to get a lift in. So, I typically will lean towards, if I'm going to be training early in the morning like that, I'm going to lean towards my workouts that I'm not trying to get after it. Like, I'm not squatting and deadlifting in the morning. I just don't. I mean, that's if I'm going to go do a bro workout where I'm doing kind of isolation stuff that does not I'm not looking to get after it really hard. I can go in there and get a good. That's not saying I'm not getting a good workout. I can still get a very good workout off of doing bis and tris and shoulders and isolation exercises, or like what I did this morning, swimming. I could still have a good swim, but you know, if I'm bouncing back and forth from sometimes night, sometimes morning, and then I'm trying to, how do I set myself up? I'm choosing this could be the opposite for you too, though. You could be the opposite of us, and your 5 a.m. workouts, you could feel amazing. Like some people are like that. Like I don't feel strong in the morning time at all.
No, I will say this: if you do work out early in the morning, you really have to make an emphasis on going to bed on time. This becomes a much bigger deal than when you work out in the afternoon. It just does. So I always make sure if I'm going to work out at 5, I make sure I get a full 8 hours of sleep, and I treat my sleep even more importantly than I normally would with my night routine and stuff like that. Here's something else that's helped me a lot, and I'm actually getting a lot of messages now from people who are trying this and are seeing that it works for them too. That alarm clock that I told you guys about a while ago.
I just ordered it.
Yeah.
Game changer. You just ordered one?
Just ordered it. We ordered it yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Katrina asked me about it yesterday.
Yep.
It's game changer, and what it is, it's an alarm clock that rather than waking you up with a or whatever, it slowly starts to glow, and it mimics a rising sun. So if I set my alarm to wake me up at 6, at about 5:45, the low glow starts to come up very, very slowly. Now by the time it hits 6 o'clock, it's full brightness, and I have like light, like bird sounds that are chirping. But it almost never gets to 6 o'clock. I almost always wake up about 5 or 10 minutes after the light starts to come on, and I wake up like, you know how you wake up on your own naturally when you wake up in the morning? So if you don't have an alarm, you just wake up. That's how I wake up every single time.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm being woken up. Makes a difference with my morning workouts, because if I wake up in the morning abruptly with my alarm, and then I go do my workout, it's like I feel like I'm
dragging ass.
Yeah, like I'm dragging ass.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference. I also typically will need stimulant in the morning to work out, where in the afternoon I like having a stimulant before I work out as well, but I don't need it.
I'm the same way.
Like I do in the morning. Like if I'm going to work out at 6 a.m. and I don't have caffeine, that's going to suck.
Oh man,
that is a tough.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's the benefit of it though. I love having a nice breakfast after a hard workout in the morning. Feels good. I don't feel bogged down, and then the energy for the rest of the day seems to be pretty good. But you're right, Adam, when it comes to like heavy squats and deadlifts and stuff like that, I mean, I do them, but if I had like a mix of times where some workouts are 5 a.m. and some workouts are 5 p.m., I would save the heavy, hard, shit, especially the lower body stuff for the afternoon. Because I get more nauseous and tired so fast.
And we're making a general statement right now that could very well be the opposite for some other people. Like there's just some people I know that are all spry in the morning, and they just
wasn't there some study about like 7 a.m., 1 p.m. and 1 p.m. and 7 p.m.
We just talked to somebody.
Yeah, I think it was Max maybe, but they were trying to like identify what was the best time for, like, the most optimal time for your body to respond to exercise and working out. And I think it said 7 a.m. was like the most preferred, but 1 p.m. had the most
the best performance.
Yeah, which made sense to me.
The perfect time for me to work out, if I can construct my day just around my workout, would be around noon or 1.
Yeah, 1 to 3.
That's my sweet spot.
1 to 3, I love. Anything later than 3 tends to get my adrenaline. Especially if I got a really good workout, has a hard time coming down for me to sleep. So if I do like 4 o'clock or beyond, fucks up my sleep. Anything earlier, I don't feel like I got enough gas in the tank. But man, I hit somewhere between that noon to 3 range right there, and it's night and day
Now,
difference.
do you guys think that? Well, I guess we read the studies that say that 1 p.m. is best performance for most people, but I wonder if part of that is because the three of us have worked so long in fitness that the dead time is always right there.
Yeah, we've also trained.
It worked out that way. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
That's I trained most of my career, and although I have had definitely bouts of all over the place. Like I was consistent for a while as a 5-6 a.m. guy. I was consistent for a while as a 10 p.m. guy even. Like so, I've done.
But the majority of it.
But yeah, but I think that's because I kind of fell in love with that. I found that, and here, what's funny? What I found is I'm the most consistent with that time.
Yeah,
I like my workouts the most. I'm the most consistent.
Yeah,
with
I
that.
like that time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've tried multiple like times too. Like 5, 6, 7 a.m. was I really tried to make it happen and was consistent with it, but it never felt the way I felt when I kept to like 1, 2 p.m.
Well, I today, right? So I swam today. I got incredible sleep last night. We were in bed by like 10, and I've been noticing to your point of the alarm clock, making sure my room is really blacked out. Sometimes I can allow my my blinds from the other hallway with the street lights kind of coming in through the window, and I can see it. Or we have a night light out in the hallway when you walk, and that glowing comes in there. And so when I take the time to actually make sure everything's blacked out, and get to bed early, I'll sleep hard. So I got great night's sleep. Had a great swim this morning. The problem is though, and I felt all of it, but I'm already starting to feel coming down. Like I'm tired. Like I could go home, take a nap right now. That sounds so good. That's what I don't like about the morning. It affects me like that.
Like midday.
Yeah,
I get tired.
Midday. Yeah, midday I'm tired.
That's why I used to love the afternoon workout, and it also would break up my day. So I'd train clients in the morning. I'd usually start work at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. I'd train clients till noon. Then I'd have a break till 3.
Yep.
And I'd do my workout, and I'd have time afterwards to eat and go for a walk and do my paperwork. And then I'd train again from 3 till usually 7 or 8 p.m. And I was very productive that way. That would be ideal. But yeah, if you work out early in the morning, you got to give it time. You will start to acclimate. You'll get better at it. I don't know if you'll ever be as good as your favorite time to work out, but it does get better.
Next question is from Bear Bowen. Do BFR bands actually work?
We haven't talked about blood flow restriction in a long time.
Yeah, we haven't.
We have a guide. A lot of people don't know this. We have a blood flow restriction guide or occlusion training guide on our website. And the reason why we made a guide is because if you do it right, it definitely works for 100%. This is one of the few single weird techniques that I've learned in the last 10 years that is actually legit.
It has some substance to it.
Yes. And so basically the way it works is, and I'll use the arms as an example, is you'll use knee wraps or BFR bands they now make, and you kind of tie off your upper arm up by where your armpit is or where your arm meets your shoulder. And you tie it off tight enough to where it starts to restrict blood flow coming out of the muscle. Now, you don't want to tie it so tight that it makes your hand numb. That's too tight, but tight enough to where you can feel some pressure in your arm and your hand because of the blood flow restriction. And then what you do is you go and you do a few sets of light weight in your arms with a relatively short rest period. And what ends up happening is because the blood pools into the muscle and it can't come out like it normally does, you have this pooling of waste in the muscle. And the burn that you get from doing this it's the most unreal burn you'll ever get. And the pump you get from this is insane, and you can't use very heavy weight. Like if I do curls with this,
it's 20%. It's supposed to be 20% of your load, and it should be so light because the very first set the protocol, and you could play with this, but I think they've done enough. And I remember Lane had shared information on the studies that they did. The protocol should fall something like this: 30 repetitions for set 1, 15 seconds rest. And then you go 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. So 5 total sets, 15-second rest periods in between. First set is 30 and 15. And it should be a weight that you can do all the way through that. And you'll see that's always an indicator that you chose a weight. Because we're saying a number like 20%, right? But the fuck is 20% to everybody?
Yeah.
Like you should be able to grab a weight that's so light that do the math right there. You know how many repetitions you're going to do with hardly any rest. It's going to have to be super light.
And when that waist buildup kicks in, you lose your strength quick. Like by the third set, 10-pound dumbbells feel like they're 50 pounds.
Right.
And I can barely curl them. and the pump gets so intense, it's insane. And so the reason why this works is because it signals muscle growth, not through damage or through heavy mechanical stress.
It's just like how we would if we were getting a pump in hypertrophy phase. Why do you think? Yeah, you're just
right. But to the 10th degree, it signals it through waste buildup, and it sends all these signals to build muscle. Now, can you compare building muscle with occlusion or BFR training to traditional training? No, not the same. You can't replace it, but you want to do it in addition to. Now, I use this pretty consistently when we first started the Mind Pump podcast, where Adam and I were going through this period of trying to get our calves to grow, and those were just body parts that
that's right.
him and I had neglected for a long time, or they just didn't grow like the rest of our body, and so we started seeing how much we could make our calves grow. And man, when I did the BFR, I saw a good 1/4 inch come on my calves real quick.
No, I think the reason why we stopped talking about it so much was kind of similar to the fasting thing. It's like we wanted to introduce our audience to it when it was first coming out, when the science was just getting revealed, kind of, and we were learning about it ourselves. We were testing it on ourselves. We were very fascinated by what we had seen, and so then we introduced it with this guide, and we also at the same time called what we were going to see, which was this, everybody now turning it into like this another way to market
the
itself.
New modality.
Yeah, and it's not, and
it doesn't replace regular work.
No, it doesn't. And what I noticed was, if I train my program exactly the same how I always train my calves, but then I introduced the BFR in addition to what I stayed consistent with, then I saw great results. If I started going, well, I didn't train my calves like I normally would on Tuesday, but I'll just do BFR, and then that would replace it. Like, no, then I started to see my calves dip back down. So I had to keep the same amount of volume of training on my calves to maintain the size they were at. And then when I added the BFR, it was like, and what's cool about it is it's so easy. I mean, and doing calves, a great example is I would tie off and use my stairs and just my body weight, because with calves like that, I mean, that's I wouldn't be able to stack very much on my shoulders anyways, or I could hold. I think I got up to like holding like a 20-pound, dumbbell.
Well, it's also a valid way to rehab.
That's the best application.
So that's why how it started.
Yeah,
it started that way, and I believe you see a lot of. I think it started in NHL. It's made its way to NBA now. Now all professional teams use this. It's protocol. I mean, if you tear an ACL now, Achilles, things like that, like you're using blood, just makes total sense, because what you used to have to wait, like a major injury on like your ACL, MCL, whatever, if you had something go like that, you had to wait until it was like fully healed before you're doing any sort of quad training or calf training or anything surrounding that joint, because you wouldn't want to re-injure it. Well, what's cool about doing the blood occlusion is you're doing such a light load, the risk for re-injuring it is really, really low.
But you get the muscle building.
Benefit. So it allows athletes, and I've used this stuff with the Achilles stuff. I've used it with my knee, so I've already used it multiple times. Injuries. I've had clients I've already used it on for those purposes.
Well, it's a lot like, a comparison for me has been isometrics, and why I got so vested in that, because it's such a valid technique, but it applies to like certain like aspects like that. Rehab, great, awesome. Like certain performance hacks, great, awesome. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of those things that you want to introduce and bring in intermittently, but it's not going to replace like heavyweight training.
And that's why I think we stopped talking about it very much.
Yeah.
We didn't want to send that message that it was like BFR is like the fucking amazing.
And you can overdo it. I did. I overdid it. I started doing BFR trigger sessions. So when I would do the MAPS anabolic protocol of trigger sessions, and I thought, wow, why don't I just occlude my arms every time I do these trigger sessions? I should get better gains. And I actually started to feel the symptoms of overtraining. So you can also overdo this. But I think rehab is its best application. And if you're advanced, this is not something I would have somebody do if they're not working out consistently.
I was up to 5 days a week of training my calves already. Right. So I'd built a strength training, normal training, straight sets. And then I was starting to tack that on a couple times a week.
Now, what they're trying to do is sell these bands that are supposed to be great for using
Fucking knee wraps.
Just use knee wraps that have a Velcro closing, so you can close them real easily.
Yeah.
I found knee wraps to be superior because there's the wide the wide
Right.
as
You don't
wide
want
as they
those.
are.
Yeah, you don't want those thin ones.
No, the thin
that
straps
they're selling.
cut off too much, and it doesn't do as effective as
It
a job.
pinches,
Yeah, when I used the knee wraps, that was the best, and especially the one with the loop, where you can put the knee wrap loop through the arm, and then just it's Velcro at the end, and you tie it off, and boom, you're done. I actually did a video on this. I believe I did a video with what's that dude's name? That YouTube guy that came to visit with us.
Juji Mufu?
No, not Juji Mufu. What's his name? Keto. What's his name?
Oh, you did that on his channel.
I did. Did I do it on his channel?
Yeah, you did it on his channel. That was Brandon Carter.
There you go, Brandon Carter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We did a whole video of BFR on his channel where we kind of showed it to his audience. But it is a new technique, relatively new. It definitely does work. Doesn't replace regular workouts. If you're advanced and you're already working out consistently and you're just looking for every little hack to maximize your gains, give it a shot. Here's the thing, though. It only really works on your extremities. They do say that there's this kind of carryover effect to the other parts of the body. I have yet to see it. It's really good for arms and legs, including the calves. You can't really do it for your chest, your back, or your glutes.
Next question is from Justin Azzi. What are some accountability practices, tools, and methods you guys use to keep clients motivated and on track?
This is why, and I know this is hard because I get pushback with the new trainers, and I get it because it's tough at the beginning to be like, when you're trying to build your business and you just take every client, right? You take people that you probably know damn well are not going to stick to it and are going to fall off, but you need business. You're trying to grow your business. But you eventually want to get to a place where these types of conversations are had before you run into it. Like I would tell clients, like, we're going to do these things because the majority of people, and I want to say that because I don't want to single them out and make them feel like they're lazy or they're going to fail, but most people have a really hard time staying accountable to X, Y, Z, whatever that is. And the more or the longer I become a trainer, the less I actually did as a trainer and the more responsibility I learned to put on the client. And what I realized was the people that were willing to take on that responsibility and to do those things were the same ones that always got the results. And the ones that weren't willing to even take on the responsibility of tracking for themselves or paying attention to the things I'm telling them to pay attention to, those are the fucking ones that never get the results. And I would tell that into a presentation on the very first time sitting down. I would tell the person, there's two types of people I take on as clients. The ones that see the results, the ones that don't. Let me tell you who the ones that do are. And then I would lay that out for them. So then when I turn around and I say, so these are the things I need from you. I need you to weigh your food. I need you to get on the scale. I need you to track your water. And I expect those things. Because if you really are that serious about what you want to do and you want all of my expertise, then fuck, if you give me all the information, you provide all the information, I can give you a lot of fucking knowledge. But if you come to me every day and say, I think I did this and I kind of did that, and yeah, I'm sure I was under this, or oh yeah, I'll remember to get on the scale next week. It's like, I can't help you.
Yeah, it's not your job to hold people accountable, or at least if you think that's your job, it's not going to be a very effective. You're not going to be a very effective personal trainer.
No.
The key is not to be the trainer that's calling people. And I did this early on. I'd call people, hey, what did you eat yesterday? I know we're not working out today, but what are you eating? Hey, what's going on? Did you do your cardio? Kind of staying on top of people. That's not going to work long term. Obviously, it just doesn't work. Your job as a trainer, if you want to be successful, is to be an effective guide. Your job is to be a maven of information.
You're the oracle.
And a guide. And to also walk this person through their process of modifying and changing their behaviors permanently. Permanent change, real change. That happens slow. And so your job really as a trainer is to communicate that to people and to say to them, okay, because here's the bigger challenge. What's really going to happen is it's more often than not, you're going to get a client that comes to you gung-ho and says, I'm ready to change everything all at once right now. That's what they're going to say to you. Okay, give me your diet, give me my workouts, I'm going to lose this weight, it's going to be great. That's the more often than not client that you're going to get. Your job is to explain to them, look, I'm glad you're excited and pumped up and motivated. That's going to help us a lot. In my experience as a trainer, and I've trained lots of people, what works the best is if we tackle one small thing at a time. We tackle something that you think you can do realistically and that you think you can stick to forever. And we'll do that first. And once you do that and you do it consistently and it becomes a part of your life to the point where you're never going to go back to the old way again, then we move on to the next one. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you. However long it takes you is however long it takes you, because the goal here is permanent change. That's your job as a personal trainer. Your job is not to hover over them and watch what they're doing and talk to them about why they screwed up and why did they eat that.
No, because then
it's too much about you.
Then you turn into just like all these motivational turds on Instagram. Yeah, that's all you. That's all your whole business is built. Your whole business is built around fucking being a rah cheerleader. That shit'll get old so fast.
You know the people that works for? People who are already like super self-motivated, like you. If you're a rah inspiring type person, and I met you when I was 19 years old, that would have worked on me. But I was already like that. You know what I'm saying? The average person, that'll work for a very short period of time, and then they're gone.
Not to mention when someone hires you as a trainer, that's like fuck. It's school. This is school time. This is you paying me for all the knowledge, all the experience, all the shit that I've learned over all these years. You're paying me to take you through school in a crash course. So I need as much information from you as possible for me to send you off with as much knowledge as possible.
This is just as ridiculous as this analogy I'm going to give you. Imagine if you went to a kung fu master in China. You went to a Shaolin monk who'd been studying kung fu for 40 years, and you said to him, "I'm ready to be a kung fu master. I want to be one in 3 months." He's going to fucking laugh at you, because the practices it takes to become a master takes a very, very long, slow time, and it's work. No different than taking someone who's never worked out, who has no idea what their macros or calories look like, doesn't even know what's good for them in terms of nutrition, just kind of thinks they know what's good, but really doesn't have any idea. It's no different than taking that person from there to a point where fitness and health and wellness is now just a part of their life.
Yeah, and all that said, what you can do is be consistent, is be there, be scheduled, be regimented, be on top of your shit every single time, be the most professional. You want to
be the rock.
Yeah, you're the rock. You never change. You're unwavering.
No, that's a very good point. The consistency on your part, even down to like laying your program out. Another thing that I always tell trainers that listen to the show and ask these types of questions will be this is the type of stuff I talk on my DM a lot with, is we laid the blueprints out so you can become more of a professional trainer. I mean, really, it's designed, one, so the consumer can pick up the program, learn and read from it, but really we've built all these skeletal programs for trainers to lay out the same way that I would coach my trainers that worked for me for many years. It's like, listen, when you have a client, you have established what their adaptation goal is, what they want to do. They've only signed with you for 12 sessions, which only gets me through about a month or a month and a half, but I know I need them for 3, 4, 5 months. Lay your program out for that way, so you know what types of workouts you want to do over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's a great way to set them up re-sign wise, plus they forecast so they know what's coming ahead of them. Mm-hmm. You be this consistent person. It's a lot easier for you to hold them accountable when they've been told from you that, next week you're doing your foundational day, and then you've got this, then you've got that.
Then you didn't make it? Well, I was there.
Right.
Yeah, what's funny too is early on when I first became a trainer, my goal was like, I'm going to get them to lose that 30 pounds just like they want. I'm going to give them a meal plan. I'm going to motivate them. I'm going to inspire them. I'm going to hold them accountable. And I would get clients that would lose weight and stuff like that. Later on, I understood it's a slow process. I understood that these are behavioral changes. The irony is, when I understood that later on, I kept clients for 10 years, 15 years. Now, the way it would look is like this. Client would start with me right now. We're going to train 3 days a week. At some point, I start to notice that they're more consistent with things on their own. They're doing better. Then when I'll have a conversation with them, and I'd say something like, "Susan, you looks like you're kicking ass. You're doing stuff on your own. It's been 6 months. Like, your nutrition's starting to look better. I don't think I need to train you 3 days a week anymore. I think 2 days a week will be fine." Awesome. Then she hires me for 2 days a week. Then we do that for a while. Eventually, over the course of the years, I had a ton of clients that I would train once every other week or once a month, and they were doing the rest of it on their own. And the funny thing is, I don't train these people anymore. We're talking 4 years later, and these clients, they're all consistent. They have made these are lifestyle changes that they've made, and these are permanent changes. And I'm talking about people who did not work out when they came and hired me. That's success as a personal trainer, and it does not come from being the person to hold them accountable. It comes from guiding people, guiding them the right way, and letting them be okay with the fact that it takes time. Because a lot of times the clients themselves are like, hey, I'm not getting to my goal as fast as I want. And you can sit them down and be like, that's okay. It's not time yet. It's taking some time. Here's what you've already done. You've been consistent twice a week with me. Looks like you're drinking more water. Your sleep's better. We're already winning on some things. I know you want to lose the weight, but we know what that takes. It doesn't seem like you're ready for it. That's how I would have conversations with clients. Sometimes I would actually get people to get their ass moving. Sometimes they'd be like, oh, okay. He says I'm not ready. Yeah. I'm going to show him or whatever, and it would work.
Next question is from Looney Moment. At what age do you think your sons will overtake you in strength? Do you hope it happens sooner rather than later?
Oh, man.
That's funny. I remember I remember the day I realized that I was stronger than my dad, or at least I could beat him.
Oh, yeah. We talked about this.
Yeah, we used to grapple in our living room. We'd move the couches aside, and we had this carpet, and we'd wrestle, and he'd always kick my ass. And as I got older and stronger and lifted weights and practiced judo, I got better and better. And I think I was probably 18 or 19, and by this point I was already pretty strong. I was a personal trainer already, and I got him on an ankle lock, and I caught him good, and I cranked on it, and he didn't want to tap out, and he tried to roll, and I cranked harder, and I popped his ankle.
Oh, you actually
and I let go. Yeah, I let go real fast,
man.
And he stopped, and then he had to kind of wrap his ankle, and it was a weird fucking vibe.
I bet it was,
because he knew, and I knew that I got him, and I don't like the feeling. I was like, oh man, I beat my dad. And then after that, I never went crazy hard against him again. And it was a very strange feeling, just because I respected him so much.
Yeah, no, I remember I told that story of when I was wrestling with my dad, and he used to just like use all of his body mass to like just smother me. And I couldn't even move because, I mean, he's 6'7", like he was like 250, 260, and so he's just like all of his weight on me. And, and then there's that moment where I finally, like, I've been lifting weights like crazy, just like motivated, over the summer trying to get ready for football. And I was able to just sort of buck him off and then just turn him, and I like pushed him up and off me, and he just had this look on his face like of pure surprise and like he never even would have thought that would happen. I honestly, this makes me want to like interview him, or today I'm going to ask him like what he thought, because I'm sure he remembers that. Because for me, I don't know what that's going to feel like.
He's going to deny it. He's like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even picture that, because it's like I wrestle with the kids like simultaneously, and I'm like, I'm like pushing this one over here, I'm throwing this one over here, and I'm like, I always got a good handle on it. But there's going to be a day, where they're going to like grab my arm and like twist behind my back, and I'm going to like squeal or something.
Yeah, no. I think it's going to happen. Well, it depends on if our sons really get into hard, because I was into.
Yeah, they got an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, because I train, I'm never going to stop.
Oh, I'm not going to stop, dude. That's motivating.
If my son starts training and he takes it seriously like I did, I have to anticipate by the time he's in his 20s, I'm going to be at that point in my 50s. He's probably gonna have an upper hand, I would imagine. Now, if we were to wrestle, I'll probably have an upper hand just because I did jiu-jitsu for 6 years and he didn't. But I don't know. It'll probably be around his 20s. Now, if he doesn't lift weights, it's going to be a lot longer than that, because I'm going to keep training,
Yeah, that's how let's see, you figure I got Max, who's going to be born just this year. So 20 years from now. You got some time. Yeah, 20 years from now.
He'll be 58 or whatever.
Yeah, 58. That's probably his best shot. Is he starts at like 15 years old and it goes ham till 20. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his, and that would be and I'm almost 60 at that point.
Yeah,
right?
But you might be all geared up at 60.
Yeah, for sure. That's not even a question. So he's still going to have, but I mean, still, I already know how I'll probably be lifting at that age in comparison to probably the things the same way you start to like tailor off of like how I snowboard now. Like I don't do anything I used to do because I know the risk versus reward right there. So I'm sure I won't be trying to deadlift 500-600 pounds anymore. Like when I'm almost 60, right? I'll deadlift, but it'll probably be more modest, So
you start picking contests that you can win at. Is what ends up happening. Except my dad, to this day, my dad's very competitive. Till this day, he's 61 now, and till this day, he'll fuck with my brother and I. And my brother's even bigger than I am. But my dad's hands, they're just made out of they're not even human tissue. I don't know if they're made out of. He's been working with his hands since he was a child, so his fingers are just like made out of cement. And so he does this thing where he makes us hook fingers like this, and then we twist. And the other guy has to give up. Right. Well, just hooking around his big ass finger alone is difficult. And then he squeezes and twists. And so till this day, he probably could fuck with us. And so that's what he tries to do with us. So I know what he does. And what he does is he picks the battles.
Yeah.
Did I tell you guys about the time?
That's kind of what you got to do.
Did I tell you about when my brother was, I want to say my brother was 17, and we were all driving to, or I wasn't with them, but they were all driving up to Sacramento to visit family, and my brother wanted to take his own car. So my brother, I don't remember what car he was driving at the time. He had some little rice rocket all souped up, and my dad had his Acura, and he was with my mom, and my brother was in his own car, and they were driving up to Sacramento, and my brother and my dad started racing, and my mom's fucking yelling, screaming, but she can't stop my dad. So they're racing up the freeway up to Sacramento, and they both get pulled over and get a ticket. So my dad's the cop was like, "Wait a minute, that's your son? He's 17 and you're racing him? You're a fucking terrible example. What are you doing?" So he got a ticket racing my dad, and it's like nobody could get mad at my brother because So my dad's the one that got in trouble for that shit.
Oh,
but I could see stuff like that. I know my son now could kick my ass at certain things. Like I won't play chess against him. He'll bury me, no problem.
Oh wow, he's that much better.
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Now see, how did you let that happen?
Because I never played chess, and my son was on the chess team.
Because I say I've played chess. I'm not great, but I play chess, and so I want to stay higher. I want to stay better than my son for sure.
Yeah.
No. My boy can already kill me. And then
what
we
else
have this.
Can he get you on?
We have this game called I think it's called Rummy Cube. I told you guys about this, and it's a numbers game. Well, my son's a fucking wizard when it comes to math, and I'm not. I never have been. So we're doing this, and this shit comes out, and he does like 10 steps. I won, and so he starts talking shit to me now. So he's won like 3 times, and I've won once, and so now he talks shit, and he's like, "Can we just end the game? We already know I'm going to win." Like he does stuff like that. Right? But here's what I have.
Makes you want to slap him.
Well, here's where I have the advantage. I have the advantage of being older, and I can handle shit talk. Yeah. He's only 13. I know he can't handle shit talk. Yeah. So I'm waiting for when I win. And so this happened the other night. I won, and I was relentless. I was just talking shit all night, just relentless. He was so mad at me. He didn't want to talk to me all night. I had to take him aside, and I'm like, "Listen," you got to be able to handle that, dude. I'm like, that's what's going to happen. You're going to go to high school, college. Like, dudes are going to talk crap.
Yeah, especially if you talk shit.
Come on, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, take it.
Yeah,
dish it out.
But it's fun, dude. There's a passing of the torch moment, I think, with your kid. It's certain levels.
It's almost inevitable. I guess the only way that it's not is because I don't see any of us slowing down as far as stopping training. So we continue to train, and I can't. My son would have to be like really dedicated for 10 years of lifting to even have a shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
I'm stronger today than at 37 going on 38, I'm stronger than I was at 25.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that is just from years and years and years and years of consistent training.
It takes a long time.
I feel like, though, I definitely feel like they're going to be gunning for it because already they're competitive with me with food. Like, they're trying to, like, take all the meat. They're trying to take all the bacon. They're like...
Look how mad he is, dude.
They want my seat.
He's like, seriously
at
mad.
the kitchen table. It's my seat. And they're all, like, both on there, like, trying to, I'm like, get out of my seat.
Yeah.
But they do that stuff all the time because they know, like, it makes me, like, flip my handle,
what's great about that? My grandfather, when we were kids, he was like that. He was like that with us, too, when we were kids and teenagers. My grandfather would fuck with us. But, he was obviously my grandfather, so he was older. And I'll never forget this one time. My cousin and I were probably 17 or 18 years old. So we're kind of like these big, teenagers by this point. And we went over to my grandparents' house to say hi. My grandfather, by this point, now he's old or whatever. We go inside, and my grandfather comes inside and says that some kids, he goes, there was just some guys stealing some of my oranges, and I tried to tell them to stop, and they threw one of the oranges at me. And my cousin and I fucking book it outside trying to find these dudes, right? He was so proud. He was so proud that his grandsons were, doing that. So I hope there's a moment like that with my boy, where I'm like, I can't lift that, and he does it for me. I'll be like, that's my boy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thanks, pal.
Anyway, look, go to mindpumpfree.com and download our guides. They're all free. We have guides on building your arms, your legs, your core. We have fat loss guides, muscle building guides, squat heavy guides. We even have guides for personal trainers to teach them how to become successful personal trainers. You can find all of these things at mindpumpfree.com. Also, you can find us all on Instagram. We have our own individual pages. Justin's page is mindpumpjustin. Adam's page is mindpumpaddam. And my page, Mind Pump Sal.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.